What's good, everybody? It's your boy Server Error 405. This is the Final Four Sports Program, and we are here once again with everybody. Everybody is here. Everybody is full of sports knowledge that we want to just share and give to the world of YouTube. And hopefully, it comes across interesting enough for you guys to keep hitting that subscribe button, commenting, telling everybody that you love us. And I can't do it by myself. I got these three gentlemen with me to help me out. First off, I got the number one bacon fan. We got Bray Dollars.
Yo, what's good? What's good, everybody? Yeah, bacon's not bad. It's not bad. It's grown on me, like a few things have.
And just like that beard is growing on you. All right, and next up, we
It's coming. You see,
we
you see
got
it.
we got Mr. Philadelphia Part One, Prince J. Dior. What's up, man?
What's up, y'all? Good to be back. Had to miss a few shows, so I'm just happy to be back. Glad to know that Bray is enjoying bacon and the UFL and all the other great things in life. Uh, but yeah, it's awesome to be back. It's good to see you guys. Let's get it going.
All right, and finally we got Mr. Philadelphia Part Two, who has a better beard than you. We got Vondre. What's up, man?
What up, big dog?
All right, short and sweet. There we go. All right. So it's been a very, very big sports weekend along, we got the NFL draft, we got the NBA playoffs, we got the NHL playoffs. There's so many things going on. So we're going to start off with the NBA playoffs because to me, that means so much more to me. And I'm going to say why I enjoy the playoffs so much. And I'm going to send it over to Dre. Right now, it's giving me that old school 90s vibe because it's very physical. You can see the teams are hungrier. Sure, there's been some blowouts, but there's also attempted blowouts, especially in the OKC game where they were down like 25 or whatever, and they came back and ended up winning. So, Dre, what's one of the games or series actually? What's one of the series that's caught your attention and why?
So I want to say there's two series right now that are like very intense and very like very interactive, and it's coming out of the East. Milwaukee and Indiana are such like a good matchup for each other. They just battle it out, and they're so physical. It literally reminds me of like Reggie Miller's Knicks versus like the old Reggie Miller's Pacers versus the old Knicks and stuff
You
like
never
that.
played for the
Yeah,
Knicks.
Yeah.
I caught myself tripping because I was going to the next series
Yeah.
where it's New York and Detroit. Those are literally like the most physical games I've seen so far. And New York looks impressive, man. Impressive. Cat's out there doing it without Jalen Brunson. And he looks good doing it. Same thing with Halliburton. Halliburton's out there doing it. Some people are struggling, some people aren't, and they're getting the job done. It's just intense in both of those series.
Jay, what do you think? What's your take on it?
Yeah, I mean, I agree. It's been a very physical series, and I love it because we're just off the heels of really intense March Madness tourney, and then you go into the NBA playoffs, and it's feeling a lot like the same. Like these guys are feeling younger, they're faster, they're more physical, and honestly, it's been very impressive to watch. I'm just interesting to see how it'll all play out, but I definitely am a lot more entertained with the NBA and basketball as a whole than I have been in the past. I think that's a good thing for the league in the future, especially next year. You got new guys coming in, and I think it's going to be interesting to see. I think that playoff, this playoff bracket will kind of form who's going to be the future of the NBA, almost like the next face, because LeBron's on his last few years. I think that the next face is probably most likely Steph Curry. We'll see what happens, but I think that really this is like kind of a showcase, if anything. And yeah, we have had some blowouts, but we've had some really, really good, tough, physical, hard fought games.
Yeah.
Um, and it's been fun to watch. So I'm enjoying the whole thing. I can't even pick a series. I think they're all pretty damn good. I mean, there's a lot of them are 3-1 right now, though, aren't they? Most of them.
hmm
Yeah.
hmm
Yeah,
For the most part,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Bray,
So
Bray,
it's
Bray, go ahead.
nice to see if anyone could fight back, but I love it so far.
Bray.
Well, if there's one man that knows something about a 3-1 comeback, it's gonna be the guy who did it in 2016 to beat the 73-9 Golden State Warriors it's gonna be the Lakers that do it. It's gonna be the Lakers that will shock some faces when they come back and win this series. But all in all, I was watching these games, and Saturday all these series are good. They're looking great, and then we had bad calls that would close these games out. You had the
Anthony
bad calls in the
Edwards.
Lakers game. Bad calls in the Lakers game down the stretch that ended up costing them the game. You have the Pistons no foul that wasn't called on the shot that ultimately wins the Pistons the game, makes those two series 2-2. If I had to pick one series though, it's no series that any of you guys have named. It's the Nuggets and the Clippers. It has been probably the most interesting series of them all. We're seeing what we wanted to see all this time with Kawhi Leonard healthy, what the Clippers should look like. And this is a good matchup for them because if they win this, they end up winning the series. They go to play the Thunder, and I think that is going to be a very, very neck and neck matchup. The Thunder and the Clippers will be very competitive as well.
I think the one thing, like you mentioned, the fouls and the no calls. I mean, that buzzer beater dunk in that Denver game.
Mm,
That was as close as you're going to get it. To me, it looks like his hand was still on the ball inside of the cylinder,
It
which wouldn't
was.
count.
yeah, it was. It definitely
So
was.
they got away
I
with
slowed
one
it down
there.
and everything.
Yeah, there was like somebody posted on Twitter
Hmm.
a picture that's pretty clear, but it is what it is. Uh, the Laker game. I mean, look, I'm happy that you have so much faith in LeBron, with the 3-1 and everything, but the way he played the last game, where he didn't have any points in the fourth quarter, that's that's just disgusting as a Laker fan. Like
I think
he needs to control the game. Like if people
Yeah,
call him the GOAT and everything else, and he's done great, but this is GOAT moments. This is what makes you a
yes.
legendary
This is
player.
what makes you. This is what
yeah,
separates great from good.
Yeah,
I'm not I'm not gonna deny you there, but at the same time, we're seeing the issue that we've said with this Lakers team. It's two big lacks. It's the lack of a big man that they don't have whatsoever, and the big man they do have, JJ Redick's played is playing Jackson Hayes no minutes. Jackson Hayes hasn't is barely seen on the court, and then there's no depth to this team. There's no guys like we're seeing the Timberwolves when they sub out their guys. Naz Reid comes in. Jaden McDaniels comes in. Guys, Dante DiVincenzo comes in. Guys that will shoot and space the floor for them and score points. The Lakers don't have that. LeBron played 47 minutes on Saturday. Luka played
yeah.
46 minutes. LeBron's at that age. He can't play the whole second half coming off a late game Friday night into a game Sunday morning. It's just not going to work. And Luka, he needs some help, man. He needs some defensive training at some point because
Yeah, because
it's
Ant going for 43
Yeah,
is
Yeah,
that's a big problem, bro. That's a
yeah,
big
yeah.
well, the
problem.
thing is,
big problem.
The thing is, though, is in my opinion, I think the Lakers have to realize Ant is going to get his points, and you have to change your game plan now because Ant's going to get his points regardless, and you have to figure out how to stop the other guys they have. That's the only chance you have winning the series.
I mean, I
But
know.
but saying
Go ahead.
saying that's a lot more than actually doing it because we can say Ant's
Oh,
going to get his
100%.
points and then you stop everybody else. But Julius Randle's been going on for 24 points a game in the
Yeah,
past three
Yeah,
of them.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
hard
You
to
got
stop him
they
too.
have a lot of sneaky talent. That's just like
Yeah.
what
There's
I'm
no,
saying. Where you're
it
watching this
all
hand and
boils
this
down.
hand can fuck you easy.
Yeah,
You know.
yeah, it all boils down to the lack of a big man in LA, though, and I think if LA's smart, which I believe they are, they tend to be. I think JJ Redick knows that's what the team lacks. It's two things. One, you got to get a big man in there, and you have to get some other role guys.
I mean, big man is definitely something that we thought we were going to fill earlier in the season when we made that move, and
Yeah.
then it got taken back. But
Oh, fell out.
I think for this series, for the most part, I think it's over. I mean, I'm going to keep my
Yeah.
faith with my team, but they probably might get the next game, might go 3-2, but I can't see them beating this team three straight games. Like
No.
that would be
So
insane.
so I have a question. Do given the current state of that series, do you think the Lakers lost the trade?
No,
No,
No.
No.
no,
no, because
we wouldn't have been in this position if it wasn't for that trade, to be honest. Like,
Yeah, I'd say so.
look how high of a seed that we got. It would be reversed. We would be like a
Yeah. No, that's true. That's
seventh
true.
seed or something
Yeah.
because Luca makes a huge difference.
No, he does.
And
Yeah.
AD probably might have got hurt with us too.
he
So
got hurt
Yeah.
a week
That's the
into
thing.
Dallas.
yeah. So I mean, when he's playing, he's fucking dominant. But
Mm-hmm.
when he's hurt, it's just
Got to
like
get him to
we
play.
gotta get rid of this guy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think there's some stuff that Luka needs to work out too. I don't think he's 100%. Um, I don't want to say he's out of shape or anything, but I don't think he's. I think it's more of a mental thing with him with this new team in
Yeah.
LA. Being in Dallas for so long, you could see his emotion when he went back to Dallas, just how much he felt that love from
Mm-hmm.
them, and he really didn't seem like he wanted to go. Like he was gonna be a lifer in Dallas. So then when you go from that to getting traded, now you're in LA and it's a whole different vibe, different culture, everything. It's gonna fuck you up a little bit and you got to take some time to adjust, which I think he will in the offseason. And, I mean, we'll see what happens. But for me, um, I was watching that Golden State Houston game last night.
Oh my God.
And, bro, number one, they can all just fucking fuck off because I lost my parlay by 1 point.
I've been
That,
there, big dog. I've been
bro,
there. Trust.
it
No.
just,
Too many
it just
times.
killed me.
Yeah.
But the game itself was fucking outstanding. There was a
Oh
lot of
yeah.
That's a great series
physicality.
too.
Yeah, they're just chippy at each other.
Yeah.
Like,
And that's
yeah,
where you mentioned that old school 90s feel. I definitely got those vibes from that game. I
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
mean, I mean
Especially
it
Detroit. That
yeah,
one
hell
too.
yeah. Hell yeah. Which make those type of games make me want because I don't watch basketball as much as I used to. I mean, I catch some games when I can, and then the playoffs come, so I start paying attention. But games like that will make a person who doesn't really watch basketball get back into basketball. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Like, yeah, definitely giving that old school feel for sure.
yeah. Bray, what do you think? Because, we mentioned old school film, and I've been telling you for God knows how long to watch old 90s, Detroit bad boy era
He'll be in
games.
another
And,
world, server. He'll be
you
in another
know,
fucking world.
like
Um.
it's kind of has those similarities, now to then, and
Yeah.
I know you mentioned like the low scoring games or whatever, but we kind of had like low scoring a little bit during the Golden State Houston game, and then they start taking off, and
Yeah, they picked
it
up.
it made me hit my over, but I just think, does this make you want to watch any of the older stuff now, seeing that this physical kind of the same kind of vibe? No, why?
Nope. Just not gonna happen. It's just I I think like I don't know. It's just something about I like watching the stars of today and like even like I think the lowest I'd probably go back to is like the early 2000s maybe like that's probably the like the
Oh
earliest
man, you gotta
I'd go
watch
back
the
and watch.
'90s. The '90s is the best era of basketball.
It's really the best era of
Nah,
anything,
yeah.
anyways, but that's a whole nother
Yeah,
podcast.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
Dre, what do you think? Who's your standout team that is gonna has action? You still think your Celtics? Obviously,
Well,
you're a fan, but
I'm a little biased. I'm a little biased. I think out of the East, my Celtics are going to come out, and I think we're going to go back to back. But the only competition we really stand is OKC. OKC is like running the floor against any team, and they have so much depth. They run 9 to 10 guys off of the bench. Like they're literally running 9 to 10 guys off of rotation. That's not even like that. Just sounds insane. And they come out there and they're physical and they're fast and they know how to score in transition. They know how to clean the glass up. They know how to protect the paint. OKC is like by far the best team to come out of the West, even with the Clippers balling like they are, the Rockets doing their thing. I think that the Thunder are going to clear the West and it's going to be a Boston Thunder matchup for the finals.
yeah, the Clippers find a way to be the Clippers. I'm an
Yeah.
LA guy. We have that rivalry with them, obviously, but like they can have like really good teams, which they've had like over the years. They've had glimpses of, hey, the Clippers might be all right. They might make it to the finals, da, 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 and then
Mm-hmm.
they get
Yeah.
knocked out in the second
Rock
round or
City.
something. So I mean, they look okay, but it's kind of like Charlie Brown trying to kick the football with those guys. I
Exactly.
see I see people who are Clippers fans. I'm like, man, God bless you, man. You must have a rough fucking life. Dr, who's your standout team that actually has a shot? I mean, everyone's going to talk about Boston going back
Yeah,
to back, which is makes sense because they're the defending champs. They're
yeah,
they're clearly like the best team next to
yeah,
OKC. But
yeah.
what do you
So,
think?
so I mean, yeah, I mean, I'd either go with obviously Boston. They're perennially great. It is what it is. Hate them because you know, hate them because but yeah, Boston looks really good. OKC, I think is not just they're the betting favorite. Honestly, I think everyone has them down. The Cavs, I think, are right there too. So I mean, those top three teams. Once again, it's hard for me to pinpoint uh, who would come out in the next round, but I think that one of those three teams, most likely OKC, though. I think OKC has probably got the best chance. They're the most complete. They're dominant. They're doing what they do. They're out here, tearing it the fuck up. You know what I'm saying? So I'll give it to OKC.
Bray, what do you think?
I'm gonna ignore the East. I think the winner of this finals is coming out of the West, regardless of whoever wins the West.
Oh,
It's not going to be the Lakers. So
I
don't say
think.
that.
I mean, you never know, man. You never know. I'm just saying. They said it. They said it in 2016 that the Cleveland kid couldn't do it, and he did it. So I don't. I don't.
That's
I'm not gonna say
2016,
all
Bray.
my chips are
This
took
is
out.
2025.
But I mean, we go back to the Clippers, and I think the Clippers versus OKC could end up potentially being a favorable thing for the Clippers with
Yeah.
just like a veteran presence. I think that's what it's could come down to, is that veteran presence. But I also think onto the downside of the Clippers is they might be taking advantage of a low morale Nuggets team. They just fired their coach, who was an NBA champion.
General
They
manager too.
they fired a
Yeah.
lot of the front office guys. This could just be a team that has low morality. But I like the Cavs as well, man. I think the Cavs are as hot as a team gets.
Yeah, they're waiting in the second round for who's next. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
Yeah,
they,
yeah, yeah.
55-point
The
blowout.
Cavs are
yeah,
the Cavs are my
Yeah,
sleeper. I mean, I think the Cavs
they're making.
are gonna be pretty damn good for the remainder of the playoffs.
yeah. That was my lock of the day yesterday. I had the Cavs and the over, and then I had the Warriors and the over, and the Warriors needed 4, and they gave me 3. But there you go. So
Damn
NBA.
Warriors.
So I mean, I think Boston's pretty. I think Boston and Cleveland's going to go crazy when they eventually meet
Oh,
in the
sure.
conference championship. That's going to be insane. Um, I mean, it's hard to deny OKC. Um, I think outside OKC, you never know. Maybe Steph might work a little, something in the kitchen and, get those glory days back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Chef might do something. So I think that would be a surprise, but it's hard to deny OKC,
It's really
honestly.
that's why it's hard for me. If everyone isn't saying OKC, then I mean it's really hard to not at least.
Like, bro, you can't name another team that can take their starting five out and put another five back out there and
Yeah,
actually
yeah,
run the
Yeah,
floor
and
with people.
still
Like,
win
there's
and
no
still
other team doing that. They're
still
that's
that good.
scary.
put up mad numbers.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, yeah. Minnesota's probably the closest thing they have to it, just with the guys Minnesota can bring in.
I
I was gonna
really
say
like
that's
Minnesota
like the
though.
closest, but like, bro, they're running. They literally will take their starting five out, put another five out there, and they'll still run the same exact stuff, and
Yeah.
it's working to perfection.
I think I
It's
think Ant
hard.
Man I think Ant-Man has the chance to actually be the face of the league at some point.
Oh, 100%. That is
Yeah,
that is
I'd say
that is
Definitely.
exactly
Ant
what it seems to
Ant
be.
and Tatum. Ant and Tatum would
yeah,
definitely be the
Tatum too.
faces.
Tatum too. That's true.
Yeah.
Tatum's
Fuck
he's
Tatum.
a hateable guy. He's a hateable
Fuck
guy.
Tatum.
Everybody's gonna hate. They're gonna hate him like
That's
they
where
hate
that's
LeBron.
where
They're gonna
me and
hate him.
Dre disagree on sports. I can't fuck with the Celtics.
All right, so we got the games coming up. It's very exciting. I'm gonna keep watching, and hopefully one day Bray, goes on to YouTube and decides, hey, you know what? I'm gonna see what all these goats
he,
are
he has
actually.
he has to just for the respect of the
Yeah,
game, man.
come
You
on,
can't
man.
love come on, bro.
Yeah, I mean, do you ever
That's
watch? Do
yeah,
you
that's
ever watch
why
old
that's why
movies?
he that's why he hates Jordan because he never watched him play.
Yeah,
Well, there's some old movies that are watchable, I guess.
Space Jam doesn't
Like I said,
count. Space Jam does not count.
anything made. I mean, Space Jam 2 was better than Space Jam 1. Another conversation
that
I'm
for
is.
another
about to
day.
get off of this call
I,
right
I, I
Uh,
now.
mean, Bray's full of crazy takes, but look, Bray, if you ever watch a game, watch something meaningful. Like, I'll
Okay,
find a list. I'll give you a
I'll
list of
go watch.
five
You know
games
what?
to watch on YouTube, and just they'll give you highlights too. I know, I say highlights. Yours, just what highlights? I love highlights.
I
You
love
know.
highlights. It gives you a gauge of what happened.
Right. Yeah, I get that. I do if I miss a Dodger game or something, I just go and watch the highlights of the game or something.
That's what I've been doing with the NBA playoffs. I wake up and turn the highlights on.
Hmm.
Yeah. So it is easy. So there's a lot of that on there. I'll find some stuff so you don't have to do the research.
Okay.
You pick one to watch, and then we'll ask you about it and your
Please let
opinion.
it be a Jordan game so you can stop with this LeBron
Oh,
over Jordan
for sure.
nonsense.
I'm gonna find
Mm.
some of Jordan's best games, and just
All right.
there we go. All right.
Yeah, I'll try.
Anyway,
I'll try not to fall asleep watching them.
oh my
Yeah,
God.
you won't because he's
Yeah.
actually exciting. It doesn't flop every 3 seconds.
Okay.
Anyway,
Yeah. All right. So we're gonna move on from the NBA. We're gonna go into football. But before we get into football, I have a little surprise, and I know it's gonna make Dior happy. I'm gonna bring this up. UF UFL. He's got the Discord server into big UFL fans.
I am. I am.
I just for the people who don't know that are watching, I watched the XFL when it first came out. Mr. He Hate Me was that all people ever talked about. I watched the rebrand or whatever UFL or UXL or whatever the fuck they
It
called it.
was XFL. Then they changed. They
XFL.
merged with the
Yeah.
UFL. And yeah.
So I watched like the first weekend, whatever. And then I tried to watch when it came out this season, and it was just whatever. Like, good seats are still available. And, when you look at the crowd, it looks like COVID era sports, So I haven't watched. Dior is such a massive fan. He's sending me links all the time. Watch this game. Watch the highlights of this game. And I'm like, Jesus Christ. So I made a channel in our Discord server so TR could talk about it. And now we have a UFL lock league, which people pick like players and stuff and teams to win games. And there's like 10 fucking people that join this fucking lock league. And, so Dior, sell me and people who are watching, and maybe even Dre. I don't even know if Dre likes the shit.
The only reason why I've even watched it is because of Destroying. So shout out to Destroying. He's a kicker for the I think for San Antonio. He used to be a
Yeah.
YouTuber,
Promise.
college
Yeah.
football.
Okay, so sell us on. You already sold Bray. You sold Bray and some
Told
other
me.
people in our Discord server. So Dior, sell us. How can we really want to watch? Like, why should we watch it without just saying, I know that it's not great. I know it's not great.
I mean,
Give a reason.
obviously you have to preface it. These guys aren't in the NFL for a reason. You know what I'm saying? Whatever the case is. The thing I love about the UFL is that it is a proving ground for guys who didn't get a fair shake in the draft, who didn't pan out in the NFL for whatever reason. Maybe they got too old, maybe whatever the case is. Who maybe had a good career in college and dealt with injuries or whatever the case is, whatever your reason is that you didn't make it in the NFL or somewhere more successful than that, you can go to the UFL. You can go, you can show what you can still do. And honestly, the level of competition has only gotten better since that inaugural season of the XFL. Okay, so XFL had their season, then they merged with the USFL to become the UFL. Last year was this year has been absolutely just barn burner after barn burner. There's been some blowouts and boring games and just like strictly defensive games that obviously people will watch and be like, well, this just is bad offense and that's why the defense looks so good. But every link that I have sent you has been a last second nail biter of a game that has been like just filled with highlights. And I always urge people, which is why I always do the highlights. If you don't want to watch the full game, I get it. You don't want to watch 3 hours of football players who didn't make it and are past their prime, whatever the case is. But if you watch the highlights, you could truly see that these guys have a lot of athleticism. They're very physical, and if you get past the crowd size, which is growing, by the way, it's growing. If you watch, if you get past the crowd size, it's actually really good football. The rule changes are really like the rule differences between the NFL are really good, and they just have a bunch of different like interactive things. Like they do interviews like right after touchdowns. You can hear everything from the crowd, like the on-field noise to the coaches talking. So whenever you see in the NFL coaches snapping at the ref, you can now hear what they're saying in the UFL. And they have the chest cam, which is really cool. Instead of having they have a cam on some of the players' chests that can show you what's going on the field. It's just an overall fun league. And if you're just jonesing for some football, it's there. It's spring football. It's 10 games. Watch it. Why not? What does it hurt?
All right. Well, then probably they should add. They should let the fans play in the game too. Just have them suit up. So let me.
Maybe for halftime.
So let me.
It's just an interesting league.
So let me ask you this: Who's the best the clear best team in the league?
It's hard to say it's a clear best. The Defenders and the DC Defenders, who's my team, and the Arlington Renegades, who actually is Joey's team. They are
Shout out
they
Joey.
are two of the absolute best. The Panthers are also really really good.
Hell yeah.
Birmingham Stallions, they won the UFL championship I think last year, and I think they won. And I don't know if they won the year before that, but they're also really good. So I mean, I think that the top two are probably either the Panthers and the Defenders or the Renegades and the Defenders. I'm always going to put the Defenders up there because that's my squad. They're the closest to Philly. That's why I picked them. Yeah,
Do they got an LA team?
not yet.
No.
They are
No,
expanding
I'm
soon.
really not watching them.
Well, well, well. Well, wait a minute. I mean, here's the thing. They don't have a Philly team. They did in the USFL. They had the Stars. I wish they brought them back, but they didn't. So I just chose the closest team to me, and that was DC. And I used to be a Roughnecks fan in the XFL, the Houston Roughnecks. But when they did the merger, the Gamblers, the Houston Gamblers from the USFL, basically just took over the uniform and the likeness of the Houston Roughnecks, and now they fucking suck. So I'm not a fan of the Roughnecks anymore. I low-key still root for them, but I'm a fan of the Defenders.
Okay,
Just based off of geography.
so I asked that to ask this: could the best team in the UFL beat the worst team in the NFL?
No.
Probably not. I mean, it
No.
depends. Who's the worst team in the NFL right now? The Browns, Titans,
I'd probably say Carolina, honestly.
Carolina.
No, Carolina just improved.
Are they? I thought Carolina's in the UFL. He
pretty
said Panthers. I thought they moved into the UFL.
Nah, Michigan. I think it's
Is
the
it-
Michigan Panthers, if I'm not mistaken.
Different
Yeah, it's the
Panthers.
Michigan
Okay.
No, probably not. Could they beat like a lower level college team? Maybe.
Could they beat Ohio State?
No.
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 No, I mean,
Because you have to understand
I-
something. A lot of these guys are older too, though. I mean, there are young guys, but there are a lot. There are like Josh Norman, not Josh Gordon played in the inaugural season, I think, of the XFL, and like that was after
Yeah, he
his
played it.
career. So they do hire people and sign people who also have played in the NFL and might be too old or whatever the case is.
Okay.
Now,
I mean, there's a dude that came from I think the USFL, and he's on the Cowboys now, Kavontae Turpin. Dude's a
yeah,
stud.
he did. And listen, that inaugural season of when I was a Roughnecks fan, their quarterback was PJ Walker from Temple. He
Oh,
ended up
PJ
getting
Walker.
signed to the Carolina Panthers
Yep.
like the next year. And when their quarterback went down, forgot who it was at the time, he got to take over and did very well.
He beat the Raiders. I remember him beating the Raiders.
Yeah, he did well. He
We
did
love
pretty well
that.
for the games he played.
Okay.
So is it like, are you going to fucking get what you get in the NFL? Of course not. But if you love football and you enjoy good games and you just want something new to watch that's different, I don't see why not. It's awesome.
Okay.
You know?
I think I might take a stab at it this weekend. Bray, what sold you on it?
I watched so after the draft wrapped up, I watched all 7 rounds of. After the draft wrapped up, right after it, ESPN switched to what ended up being the Battlehawks and the Panthers. I chose the Battlehawks. I mean, not the Battlehawks. I chose the Panthers simply because they literally play in Detroit. I'm 30 minutes away from Detroit. And I ended up watching that game. I think the end of the score was like 36-33, and it was just a fun game. I got to, Max Duggan was playing in there.
Yeah, he was burning it up.
He was,
Okay.
it was it's a fun, it's not the same level of the NFL. So if you go in with that expectation, you're going to be disappointed, obviously. But if you go in with open eyes and you just want to watch some football, it's literally perfectly fun to watch.
Yeah.
Okay. And they do the games on Saturdays and Sundays or just Saturdays?
Fridays,
They
Saturdays,
do. They
Sundays.
did.
Right.
So this past weekend they did Fridays and Saturday, and I think Sunday. But
Yeah, there were some
usually I
Sunday
think it's
games.
just Saturdays and Sundays.
Okay. I think what I'll do is I think I'll watch a game when it comes on. I'll search ESPN and it's are they even
I hope
on
y'all get a
ESPN?
bad
I
game.
don't even
They're
know.
going to put a bad
Yeah,
game
it's on
out
ESPN.
because
Okay.
don't get me wrong, there are bad games. I mean, they're like some of them are just like, okay, the offense can't even fucking move the ball. It's the third quarter and this quarterback has thrown for 11 yards. This is crazy. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like,
I'm gonna go in just, kind of like if I know a movie sucks, my expectations are super low. So if it's a little bit good, I'll be pleasantly surprised. So there we go.
If not, watch my highlights.
I'd rather watch your highlights of like, you running around like doing a 9.640, just I'd rather see those highlights of you personally.
I would have watched those highlights of you, my nigga.
Oh, you want to see a white man die really fast? Then there you go. That's
Oh
I
fuck,
don't
man.
I don't think I could run that fast anymore. I used to be fast, but and then I started drinking, but that's a
And
whole nother podcast.
one last thing, it's the league of the final boss. Okay.
No.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of Rock right now.
Right now, I'm not a big fan of Rock
Yeah,
either. So
yeah, me
That's
neither.
not
we'll
that's
save
not a
that
good
for
That's not a
selling
good
point.
seller, I guess. I
yeah.
fucked it up.
Just
Now
don't go
Bray's
into
gonna stop
sales.
watching. There you go.
Yeah, don't go into sales. All right, so speaking of football, we're going to get right into the NFL draft. There's a lot to talk about. Obviously, Sanders is a big topic of conversation, but the one thing I want to talk about in regards to the NFL draft, it's easy to say, okay, I'm going to grade this team an A, this team a B. Out of all the teams in the draft and how they drafted, which team do you think is going to actually do the most with what they got? Because there's been teams that have done well in the draft, and it's kind of like that for us in fantasy football. You draft a great team, and you don't do shit. So in the NFL, it's kind of the same thing. You draft a good team, and not counting injuries or nothing like that, but just not really panning out for different reasons. So we're going to start out with you, Dre. What do you think? Which team or teams do you think did the best, and how's their season going to look in your opinion?
Fly, Eagles, fly.
Let's go,
Bro, we
baby.
literally replaced everybody that we lost.
Exactly. People don't know it's sneaky, but we did it.
We literally replaced everybody that we lost. And we actually just dropped in age average for our defense. Our defense is 24 years of age on average. We don't have a player on defense older than 28. And we're all damn near locked into a 2028 contract for most of the defensive players. Same thing with our offense. Our offense is actually 27 years of age. So we're literally the youngest team offensively and defensively. And we just replaced everybody that we supposedly are going to miss. And we replaced them with younger talent. And
Exactly.
we're just literally going to run it back.
And these guys aren't just anybody either. I mean, these
No,
guys
Jahad Campbell.
These guys are talented. Jahad Campbell is probably the sneakiest pickup of the draft. Like people are like, oh, Jahad Campbell. Nah, he's a dog. Seriously. He's a dog. And under the tutelage of Zach Bond, under the tutelage of Nakobe Dean, this guy's gonna be a fucking and under Vic Fangio,
Vic just makes everybody better, bro.
Monster, brother. Monster.
Bray,
Mark our words.
Bray, what do you think?
First off, I wish Vic Fangio would have made the Broncos better when he was there, but that's
Yeah.
once again another.
Too bad.
Too bad. Sucks to
But
suck, doesn't it, bitch?
I think there's a few teams that really did really good. I think the Ravens made great pickups. I think they got Malachi Starks and Mike Green. They ended up getting two steals. They got the Panthers showed they're all in on Bryce Young, which I think is a smart move. I think because at the end of the season last year, we saw Bryce Young start to show glimpses, and they go out and they draft Ted McMillan at 7.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Ted McMillan's gonna be great. The
Bryce
Browns.
Young, I want to just quickly say something about Bryce Young. Keep in mind, the Eagles won the Super Bowl last year. He almost the Panthers almost beat us.
They almost
beat us. Okay, very close. Bryce Young balled out. He's good. I think that he has been played by just being surrounded. Like he just got drafted into a bad situation.
Yeah, I mean, that's what happens. That's why I'm gonna bring up a guy and his team, the Jaguars. They moved up to get Travis Hunter, and maybe Trevor Lawrence finally gets a chance. I've been on the Trevor Lawrence train since the day he was drafted. And they got Travis Hunter. We'll see what he does for them. There's a couple teams that had weird drafts too, like Miami. I didn't see did good. The Browns had a really weird one.
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck.
It was 50-50. Some teams did really good. Some teams had just out of this wonky kind of format of drafting. But that could also be, a team or two went off script, drafted a guy early, and then it shifts everything.
There's definitely a good team. I think the Giants had a great draft.
Bro, y'all are saying everything I'm writing. I was just about to say, drafting Abdul Carter, like that is like I think that's like one of the sneakiest
Yeah.
like picks of the draft.
You
Like
put him
no
right
one's
next to
talking
Dexter
about it.
Lawrence too, bro.
Yeah, like next to Dexter Lawrence, you got Abdul Carter and you got Jackson Dart. I'm not saying I think we all know when we start talking about Sanders, I don't think Jackson Dart is like anywhere better than Shador. But at the end of the day, he's better than Danny Jones and Tommy DeVito. And I
Yes.
think that you get a fresh face in there and get him some, get him he has Malik Neighbors already there, they've got some, and then you got Abdul Carter on the other side. They, in 2 moves, massively improve their offense and defense.
Yeah.
Well, with the third move too, getting Scatterbo,
Yes, I forgot
that's
about
just
that.
that's
Oh,
another
Yeah.
great pickup. So they got him and Tracy Jr. out there running back. That's a two-headed
yes.
monster, dude. NFC East is looking bad this year. It's
We're
going to be
looking
Yeah.
a
good.
crazy division.
That's gonna be probably the most interesting division. I do want to hit back though. One team I forgot to mention. The Bears are. I think I forgot to mention the Bears
Yes,
stole this draft.
Mhm.
yes,
They
they
got
did.
Colston Loveland at 10, and then turned around in the second
Turn
round and
around.
drafted Luther Burden.
Mm,
I
Yeah.
think another
mm.
team that's obviously building for the future is the Patriots. I
Yes,
think the
Yeah.
Patriots
yes.
they had a really good solid
Woo!
draft and they're
Good
making some
free
serious
agency
moves.
too. Oh my
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
goodness.
Yeah.
They got something cooking over there, and
Yeah.
that's kind of scary because you got a lot of
I
young guys that could be
yeah.
good in the next few years, and they're going to learn and get better, and they're going to be hungry, and man, they're going to be kind of scary.
Yeah.
So
I definitely agree with the Patriots, but I'm definitely doubling back on the Bears. Jesus, like I mean, I don't know if people realize how scary that's going to be.
Especially with them
Caleb
getting Ben
Williams, but
Johnson as
this
their
is I'm
head
going to say
coach.
this. This is going to be a moment of truth. This is going to be a moment of truth for
Oh, yeah.
Caleb Williams, because if Caleb
Yeah.
Williams, who you kind of look like by the way, Dre, if Caleb Williams, if Caleb Williams cannot make anything happen with a guy like Luther Burden and Loveland on his team, I mean, what do you come on?
I
Like
mean,
you got
it's only going to be a second season, so I mean,
I know, but
that's
with the tutelage of Ben Johnson, after all that shit we saw in Detroit last year offensively, where they're
Yeah.
fucking pitching
yeah.
the ball mid play, throwing touchdowns like that, bro. I believe that Caleb is gonna lead this team
yeah.
to a playoff berth.
Yeah.
Caleb's gonna.
Playoff
I
berth.
personally, my prediction is that Caleb's gonna be great. I think he's
Oh
gonna be
yeah,
really
I
good. I think
Yeah.
the Bears are gonna have the opposite of what they did last season happen. I mean, I think that they're gonna be just with 2 moves, a true contender.
I think with Caleb, obviously I love him because he's a USC guy, and I'm always pulling for him. But my thing is that he showed glimpses of greatness last season in his rookie year.
yeah. When he
He
wasn't getting
had
chased out of the pocket
That's what I'm
45
Yeah,
times
saying.
a game,
yeah,
Yeah,
he had that shit going.
that's what I'm
yeah.
saying. Like he has a lot of awareness, and he can move. So I think as time goes on, the next few years, I think he's gonna be really, really good. I think with the Bears draft that they have, they're gonna get him help. And I think he's gonna continue the learning. And I think, like Dre said, I mean, I don't know about if they'll make the playoffs because that division is pretty tough.
It's a tough
Um,
division.
so
It
I
is.
mean, to make the
Yeah.
playoffs, oh, man, and then
I'm calling it Bears going playoff wild card at
I
least.
I
well,
do want to
yeah, they're not
say
winning the division.
that like similarly to the Bears, I'm really like I just kind of want to double back on what someone else said earlier. The Jaguars. I mean, drafting Travis Hunter alone, and then you're gonna let him play both sides. Of course, not 50-50, but you're gonna let him play both sides. I mean, giving Trevor Lawrence a weapon like that and then strengthening the defense with one guy is I think that's going to speak volumes, and I think it's going to translate on the field. Obviously, there's going to be some questions on if Travis Hunter can perform well on both sides of the ball. Can he do that? We'll see. But I think the Jags going like that trade, man, that shook up the world. Before the Sanders stuff, that shook up the draft. Honestly, like
Honestly,
seriously.
I know Bray and you both are talking about Trevor Lawrence, and a few years ago I was kind of high on the guy, but now I'm like, I don't know, man. I think there has to be a point where I mean, he's their franchise quarterback because they don't want to start over. So he does definitely
100%.
has talent. He's a talented guy, but I don't know, man. I just something about
It,
him.
You're not sold. You're not
I
sold
don't
on
know.
him yet.
I feel like he's in that Tua Tagovailoa position right
Yeah,
now.
without
That's
the
where I feel
concussions.
like Trevor Lawrence. Yeah, exactly. That's the
Right.
only thing I think about.
Yeah. At least because you could think because you had never had concussions like that. So it's like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tua is
Especially
a
after that
talent.
last one he had.
Oh
Yeah, I
my
mean,
God.
I think personally, without the concussions, Tua could have been a Super Bowl champion by now.
I
I,
mean, yeah.
I don't know.
I
But
don't know, bro.
But
You got to think about it. I mean, dude had Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill. How the fuck do you not go to the Super Bowl with that fucking duo?
yeah, I don't know.
How?
Bray, do you think there's going to be a time within the next, like, let's just say a couple years that they're going to kind of look elsewhere, maybe in the draft for like a backup quarterback for him and maybe look for another future guy
I
for
mean,
Trevor Lawrence?
I wouldn't. Trevor Lawrence is a guy that they still. I mean, they just now got Travis Hunter, but they still have yet to invest in him. What investments have they truly put into
Yeah,
Trevor Lawrence to
that's
where that they could
Yeah.
say to where they could
this
say
is
it
the
was a
first
failed
one.
investment? Outside of yeah, this is literally their first big. I mean, they had like Trevor Etienne and like key role guys like Christian Kirk and guys like that. They tried Calvin
Who was
Ridley
when
out.
they
That
got
didn't
him.
really work.
He's old as fuck when they got him. So
Yeah, like it's just like they've just tried a bunch of things that haven't really worked. Like he's never really had just a big star weapon out there that he could just attack with.
yeah, and this is why I say like for guys like Caleb Williams, for guys like Trevor Lawrence, this is going to be a telltale season because now you got
Yep.
the weapon. Now you got the weapon. Use it.
Yeah.
What can you do?
Yep.
You can't make too many excuses after a while when the stuff's there. I mean, with when you go
Mhm.
talking about Carolina Panthers like Bryce Young, his knock is he's too small or whatever, but the dude can ball.
He can
It's
ball.
just
Yeah, he
he's
can
in
ball.
a
He's also by the way a indirect family friend. By the way, I just want to let you guys know that.
I don't
uh,
believe in too small because Drew Brees played quarterback and he was a legend.
I mean, Lynn, also Mike Vick, he was pretty small too.
yeah, I don't know. I think Bryce Young is actually like isn't he like 5'9" or
That
something?
you
He's
know
no Bryce Young is 5'11. Drew
he's
Brees was
5'11",
5'11 and a half.
but they they said the same thing
No.
about Jalen Hurts, dude. Like they said, oh, Jalen
Yeah.
Hurts was too small. He was too short. He didn't have muscle mass. You can work that stuff. He could go and put on some muscle. On
Yep.
in the off season. Jalen did it. There other quarterbacks have done it. So it's something you can't fix your height, but you can fix your muscle. I
Yeah,
mean,
and
Yeah.
you also could fix your offensive line too. So just protect the guy so he doesn't die fucking
yeah.
every play. You know what I'm saying?
Right, bro. You got 300-pound dudes rushing up
Yeah.
these fucking
I mean, yeah, 100%. Like this is why
little
Andrew Luck should
giants.
still
Like,
be in the league. But
What'd you say, Bray?
I said this is why, like, if a team, we talk about teams that should have invested in the offensive lines, I think the Bengals need to, like, they need to. Otherwise, Joe Burrow is going to end up like Andrew Luck,
yeah,
That's a good
yeah.
take.
Damn.
and it's unfortunate
Wow, that's a
because
strong statement, my nigga.
we saw, but the thing is, we saw talent in Andrew Luck. Andrew Luck had the talent there, and the Colts refused to build an offensive line around him, and then he ends up getting hurt, and that was it.
Well, I think it was more than just injury with Andrew Luck. I think Andrew Luck had mental shit going on too, and he
Yeah.
couldn't really cope
Yeah.
with it. Which, hey, I mean, it's interesting you say that, but like when I really kind of chew it over in my brain, I could see that, but I don't think I think that Joe Burrow. I think Joe Burrow is better than Andrew Luck.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think he's better than Andrew Luck.
Well,
I
yeah.
think he'll last longer than that.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, even if Andrew Luck is still playing, or Joe Burrow is just to me
He's unreal.
On another
he's
level.
He's
yeah he's
unreal.
like the
He is.
best to me. He's like the best quarterback in the league, honestly,
Over
because
Josh
His
Allen?
decision,
yeah,
it's his
yeah,
decision making. His
easily over
decision
Josh
making
Allen,
is so elite.
Easily.
easily. The
Five
stats
thousand
prove
yards.
it.
You don't
Like,
get.
how would he be? How would
Yeah.
he be less than Josh Allen?
I don't.
Especially if
Oh.
we go by your stuff, Josh Allen, he's never been to a Super Bowl. Joe Burrow has,
Joe Burrow
and
has.
he has better
Yeah.
stats.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
reason I say that is because, like, once again, I always say context matters. When you watch Josh Allen play, he just seems like a much more physical player. He's willing to put his face in the fire. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
I think he has a slightly better arm. I don't know. I just feel like, and then he just won the MVP, so it's like hard to, you know what I'm saying?
And also, he's got Chase to throw to, so that helps a lot
Yeah.
too. But
Yep,
Burrow
Jason
to
P.
Chase is
Higgins.
like, I had him
Yeah.
on my fantasy. You know what I mean? So like they're fucking
So
just
so
numbers.
there goes that argument again. Like, oh well, technically Josh Allen is doing it with less. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he
I
is.
mean, sure, yeah. But I just feel like, as much as he's great in Buffalo, Joe Burrow in Cincinnati, it's just, I don't know, man. Maybe it's just the atmosphere and the vibe, but he just seems like that, I don't want to say Joe Montana type, but
Mm.
he's just a guy that just goes out there and just does
He
it.
just
Josh Allen,
yeah.
he's just more glazed by the media, like the Collinsworths and all that stuff. Same with Mahomes, you
Here's a
know.
guy.
Yeah, here's a guy, and it's like, sure, he's great. I honestly think Lamar is better.
I think Lamar's better than both of them niggas, personally.
Mm,
And the stats
that's
prove that
stretching.
too, And it's just, to me, I thought Lamar should have won the MVP between the two of them.
No,
Dude, the Lamar disrespect has been forever. I
no.
mean, he. If you really think about Lamar's career, I mean, he had like almost the same criticism as Jalen Hurts did. Like, oh, well, he's just a running back. He's too small. He can't do this. He can't throw. He can't do that. And what does he do? He goes out there and he improves every single year. And he proves that he can. And that's why I love Lamar so much. I'm big on Lamar, bro. I love Lamar.
I think and I do too, and I like Josh Allen too. I just think like when you look at like somebody overall talent, like if they're a quarterback that could run too, and not just run for their lives, but just drawn up plays, and they're
Yeah,
running around and they're just fucking, they can make something out of nothing too. Lamar is that guy. He can
yeah.
actually he can play. He could throw deep. He could run. There's not a lot of quarterbacks that can do that.
But
That
they'll use it as a slight and say, well, he's just a running back because he runs well. It's like, I mean, if
He
does
does.
it help the
I
team
mean,
win? Like, I'm confused.
he,
Yeah.
No, Bray,
I
shut
mean,
up.
he
I
does.
know what you're trying to
He
do.
does
No.
run. He does. He
And
does run an awfully lot
okay,
compared to
great,
others.
but
But
isn't that a
separate.
part of
Hey,
football
hey, hey.
as a whole?
I mean, yeah, but that's a separate topic for a separate day.
I guess we should start talking about Shador.
we'll just
I got first.
we'll leave enough people have talked about him already. So I'll just say this.
Whoa.
I hope the
Well, we
guy,
have to talk about him.
well, we are, but I'm not, because there's something else that I did want to talk about after this. But
Okay.
I am going to say this. A lot of people have talked about him. He's getting a lot of attention, obviously, and all on ESPN. That's all you're going to ever fucking hear is about him constantly.
Yep.
It's just like when they talk about the Cowboys or the fucking Chiefs or whatever. Um, the thing I'm hoping for is that he actually, they don't start him at all, even if people, get hurt or whatever, or, I don't want to see him. I don't want to see anyone get hurt, but I don't want to see him starting his first year. I don't even want to see him playing. I want to see him learn from whoever the starters are. I want to
Yeah.
see him learn what the culture is in Cleveland. I want to see him understand the game of NFL and how it's way different than in Colorado.
Yeah,
College is a whole different animal. So it's like I want to see him do well like his father did. Even though they play different positions, his father was a goat when he in
yeah.
the NFL.
Both sides of the ball.
And exactly. And he's the guy that can actually fucking talk that shit because he's fucking the GOAT,
Yeah, he
when you're
backs it
not
up.
like that. So people are getting on Sanders for all the stuff that he's talked about, and he hasn't really accomplished anything. And then the whole, I think he's kind of set up too a little bit because retiring the jerseys, it's why are they doing that to them? Why they don't need their jerseys retired? There's no world where that's even a positivity and anything, especially when a guy who's already getting enough shit as it is, and we're going to retire their jerseys too. When there's all these athletes who went to school,
Yeah,
fucking,
but here's the problem, right? The reason I get it, because the reason the jerseys were retired, in my view, is because Travis Hunter, Deion Sanders, and Shador Sanders were three of the main reasons that Colorado was plucked out of obscurity for the past. I mean, they did nothing for 12 years, I believe. Okay. No one thought they were an afterthought. If it was not for those three guys, they'd still be an afterthought. So honestly, Shador came in and broke all types of records. It is what it is. I think like when you got a guy doing that, I I get it. It might have been a little bit of an ego thing, but you got a guy performing better than anybody ever in Colorado. Then I
That's
mean, well,
wait.
I mean,
Slow down.
I'm obviously being okay. I'm obviously being like, I mean, in the past 12 years,
Yeah.
in modern day history,
Okay.
in recent history, he's
Yeah.
done the most for the school.
Let me run off a few names of guys that played in Colorado. Cordell Stewart,
Wardell.
Cordell,
Eric Bieniemy, Rashawn Salah, bro. I mean, that's just three. I could just keep going. There's a whole
Cordell
fucking list.
Stewart.
yeah,
Cordell
I
Stewart's
mean,
a name in
yeah,
itself.
I know, I get that. Cordell Stewart was awesome, man.
And guess what?
Right.
And guess what? He didn't get his jersey retired.
Nope.
No, maybe not. But I mean, at the end of the day, once again, there was a long period of time where Colorado was irrelevant,
Yeah.
and
Not
off the backs
really.
of
Not really.
Shador, Dion, off
I
the
mean,
backs of Shador, Dion, and Travis, they became relevant again. One of the most talked about teams in college football, and they got moved to the Big 12.
Well, so did a lot of schools from the Pac-10.
yeah.
Yeah, but if they
I
did,
mean, teams.
you have to earn that. You can't just, you know what I'm
Well,
saying?
not necessarily. I mean, they're going to bring a lot of it's money and boosters and stuff.
Yeah.
So it's not really players or anything like that, or
Yep.
so that's kind of like it doesn't really tie in because they don't keep these guys past 3 or 4 years anyways. So it's like they want to be able to just make things kind of even. You're always going to have those sorry ass schools in different conferences anyways. But
Yep.
Colorado, they've always been like they've had decent players through the years and none of them are getting their jerseys retired or anything like that. And so it kind of goes back to what I was saying. Like I just feel like the media sets him up too, and he doesn't help his cause. So I'm hoping that he doesn't play and he just learns. Bray, what do you think in a nutshell how his potential rookie season playing and just overall thoughts?
If you want him to have any sort of an NFL career, he doesn't touch the field this season. It's that simple. You don't throw him into the fire that is the NFC North. You don't throw him in to a division that has TJ Watt and Jack Sawyer. You have to face that team twice, by the way. That's gonna run. Shador took a lot of sacks in college, and you have guys in that NFC North alone that has a sack record. I mean, obviously, Miles, he gets the grace that Miles Garrett's actually on his team, but you don't throw him into the fire. I think the same thing with Jackson Dart. The Giants aren't going to throw Jackson Dart into the fire. That's why they have Jameis Winston and Russell Wilson there. They're not throwing Dart into the fire. That is more of a investment for the future. And he has two veterans to learn from. I think Shador, you want him to be the best, you want him to prove that he's the best, you let him sit behind the veterans you have or the guys you have, and you just let him build and build and build, and then eventually next season he could start. Next season he could start because then by next season you have more pieces.
I feel like this is obvious. I mean, I feel like there's not even a chance he's starting.
Yeah.
So I don't even know why we're acting like there's a chance.
Because,
I mean,
here's why. Here's why. Because if anything happens in training camp, and how media blows it up, ESPN will just be all over it. Oh, they got a quarterback competition going on in camp. And there's going to be a lot of talk of maybe he could beat out this guy, and then he ends up becoming a number two, and then whoever they end up starting ends up going down, and he's the number two, and then he starts instead of him just being the number three and not starting.
I think probably because I mean, if you really look at it, I mean, only for we don't know how he's going to transition to NFL, but only if we're talking about college. I mean, I personally think that he comparatively is the best quarterback in that quarterback room.
Dude, that's tough though because he's behind.
Yeah.
I'm not saying
Watson,
I'm not saying Deshaun Watson's great, but he's behind Joe Flacco. He's behind Kenny Pickett. He's behind Dylan Gabriel. So like he's got a lot to fight with in that quarterback room.
Well, Watson's not going to play this season.
Watson's trash. Joe Flacco is, I think, past his prime. Kenny Pickett was our backup last year. Fucking and who else was the last one? Who was the last?
Dylan Gabriel.
He like Shador's way better than Dylan Gabriel. You fucking serious?
I don't know about that one.
Remember where we sit.
When was Dylan Gabriel fucking projected to go top 5 overall.
He doesn't have his
I mean,
jersey
he was his
retired.
foot.
Fuck that guy.
I'm just
No, I mean, I
But
just
I'm
think
not.
if we
I'm
look at
not.
the didn't Dylan
We,
Gabriel threw like fucking 3 picks or 4 or 5 picks in one game, bro. Like,
Yo,
we
sir, shut the fuck up.
we get we have gained I think everybody is on this level that it was not a talent thing. It is nothing to do with Shador's talent.
right, right.
They're
Yo,
not saying they
that
didn't come out
just
and
took
say
me the fuck
if he
out.
wasn't talented, if they don't see him as talented, they wouldn't take him at all. But they see there's talent there, but there's something that has to be. I don't know what's going on between
I
these
don't know
two.
what's
No,
going on over there
I'm
either.
laughing.
I'm talking to you right now. Like,
I'm listening. I'm listening and reacting to Dre. Dre just reacted what I said, and
He
I'm.
said that dude ain't got his jersey retired. Fuck that guy.
well, hey, listen. I mean, yes, exactly. So that's my thing. Like, that's my thing. Everything you just said, Bray, is facts. It's not a talent thing. So we are acknowledging that Shador has talent. I think that everything else
Yes.
is overshadowing that at this point. And you got a practically a career backup in Kenny Pickett. You got a guy way past his prime in fucking maybe not way past, but past his prime in Joe Flacco. You got Deshaun Watson, who has proven to be trash ever since his legal shit got cleared up, and he's back in the NFL. And then you got Dylan Gabriel, who, I mean, do we have to pull stats or do we have to like look at game film?
I mean, we don't, like I said, we won't like nothing's even beneficial of why he slipped. There's nothing
Yes, it
even
is.
out
We
there
know what
as
it
to
is.
why he should. Well, what we do know, but like there's nothing really official. Like we know from what we've heard, it was draft interviews and how he carried himself throughout the interview process, which that's seemingly what happened. But I said the other day when me and you were in VC, I said this is an example that owners are going to set with the whole NIL ordeal. They see these kids coming out. A lot of them. It's not just Shador. A lot of them are cocky and have egos because they're making so much money at college. So when they come up, and the NFL sees that, they're gonna say, "No, we don't. We're not dealing with that." And now watch what happens. Now you're gonna slip. And unfortunately, Shador kind of was the example piece
I mean,
to
my
that.
opinion. I think that it's a combination of that. It's a combination of his attitude in the draft interviews.
Right.
And honestly, you know what I've been saying. I know a lot of people
Yeah.
trying to make it a race thing. I think I kind of understand where that's coming from, but I don't know if that's fully it. I think that it and the reason it's a race thing, just really quick, that's why they've been saying that is because they feel like you got guys like Baker Mayfield, you got guys like Johnny Manziel who came in blazing, cocky as hell, thinking they shit don't stink and they're better than the world, and they still got drafted where they got drafted. And here comes Shador with an attitude.
Yeah,
and
but look at
And they got shit on
yeah.
too.
Yeah, they got
Yeah.
shit on, but they still
But
got
look at how
drafted. They might have got shit on, but they got
look at
drafted.
Johnny
With
Manziel was a
attitudes.
different story. He just couldn't stop doing coke, and he never did his playbooks.
Yeah.
Johnny was a different. He was
Yeah, exactly. So what I'm saying is like, okay, so it's
love
okay
Johnny
to be a
Manziel.
cokehead. It's okay to have an attitude and be a party boy.
Well,
It's okay, and you can still get drafted top 5, right?
well, clearly not because look at how long was Johnny Manziel in the league? 4 years max.
Well,
Something
yeah,
like that,
exactly.
yeah.
And he was a
Stop! I
failure.
can't breathe.
But he was a failure. So the point is, I get the race thing. I don't think that's what it is personally. That's just where that comes from. I think that is a big fuck you to Deion Sanders because when he was in the league as a player, he was public enemy number 1. Now that he's this loudmouth fucking coach, he's public enemy number 1 again. I think that it's a fuck you to Deion, and I think that they're like, oh, you think your son's so great? Watch this, bitch. It's simple as that.
Right.
And yes, they make it an
It's
example.
okay to be a cokehead and play quarterback.
Dude, you guys gotta lock in at some point. You guys are so unlocked in right now.
It's broken
Hey,
down,
yo.
folks. It's broken down.
It's over.
Look,
Show's
look,
over, guys. Have a good day, guys.
Look, yeah, exactly.
We
The-
go over our normal time limit and shit just fucking all hell breaks
I know
loose.
it was like no time
He
limit.
said it's
Anything
okay
happens.
to be a cokehead and a quarterback, bro. How am I not supposed to laugh?
Fucking Manziel had his fucking jersey retired at his dealer's house. He's got his fucking t-shirt up. He's got his t-shirt up. He's got his
But
jersey up at his house.
but in all seriousness, I mean, I said I wasn't going to talk about it to this extent, but in all seriousness, him sliding that far is absolutely ridiculous. I'm sorry. I
Yeah,
don't give a fuck what attitude.
yeah.
If he didn't
I mean,
fuck
it is.
if he didn't fuck the owners' wives, I don't know what the fuck he did that was so horrible that he dropped to 997. That's
You,
ridiculous.
you want me? You want me?
It's
You want me to
unprecedented.
tell
You've
you
never
what it
seen it
was?
in the history of the NFL.
You want me to tell you what it was?
What?
Got his jersey retired.
Exactly.
Oh,
I'm
That's
done. I'm
exactly.
done, bro. I'm
That's
done. Oh
all
God.
right, man. Fuck y'all. We ended the episode and we gonna keep going. I hate y'all.
No, I'm gonna do one
All
more
right,
surprise. I'm gonna do one more surprise, and again, it's for you, Dior. You weren't
it's the
here
element of
when we were talking WrestleMania. You weren't here. You missed it. So we're not gonna go into every fucking match or anything like that. But what were some of the highlights of Mania that you enjoyed for both nights? And what do you think of the booking that's currently going on, so we can move it to current day?
Yeah, very, very, very
WWE.
quickly. So obviously, match of the entire show for me was triple threat match, and the night one easily could have been switched with the John Cena match and Cody Rhodes. That match was low key really boring and confusing, and I didn't understand what they were doing there. Happy Cena won, loved the finish. Top to bottom, the show I felt like was really good, except for Tiffany Stratton versus Charlotte Flair was just a fucking clusterfuck of a match. It was a little stiff, but on top of that, it was just sloppy. I mean, it wasn't. The build was horrible. But I do think that triple threat between Punk, Rollins, and Reigns really stole the show. Um,
yeah.
as for the current booking, I mean, personally, Raw and SmackDown have been damn near better than Mania. The Raw after Mania and then SmackDown after Mania.
That
Just
TLC
because
match on SmackDown?
Oh my
that
God.
TLC match was me and my girl watching. I'm like, why are they having an AEW style classic on fucking a random ass SmackDown? You could have easily put that match on WrestleMania and
That
replaced
could have
it.
replaced the New Day match.
Yeah, the tag match,
Yeah.
or they could have made that a TLC. I don't know what the fuck they were doing there, but I mean, yeah, currently they seem like they're cooking the faction that's forming between Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker and Paul Heyman. Wow, brother, that has the potential to be amazing if they do it right. New Age Evolution is what I say.
Yes.
Yeah, because they had Braun already coming out with the suit, kind of looking like Batista a little bit,
Yeah.
and then what I'm saying, and then you got there wasn't really a manager role in that group except maybe you could say Flair was partially a
Yeah, he
manager,
was
Yeah, he
partially,
was
yeah.
partially, yeah.
so maybe that's kind of representing Paul. Then you got the Triple H, which is the Seth Rollins, who that's Triple H's golden boy anyway and has been, so it would make sense. And I really kind of want them to add Theory to it because they haven't been doing anything with Theory, and I feel like he would fit very well there, just as like the WWE tried to forget about me, but I'm still here type shit. And then bringing Becky, come on, it's right there. She just turned heel.
Yeah.
I thought about if not Theory, I thought Carmelo Hayes. Carmelo Hayes would be
Damn.
a good pick for the future because he's a great up and comer. He's got TV time. He's always on TV.
Yeah, he just
Perfect
won the
spot.
Andre the Giant Memorial Battle
Yeah,
Royal.
you put him in there. But I think if I put my little 2 cents in too, I think the match of the night, match of the whole weekend for me, besides that triple threat, was the fatal 4-way for the Intercontinental Championship, man.
That was
Shout out
damn
to
good
Dirty
too.
Dom. Shout out my dog Dirty
That
Dom and
so
Bron
for
Breaker
me,
going
for
crazy.
me, for me, that was like moment of
Oh,
the
word,
weekend
yeah.
because like I marked out. I mean, like I never thought that Dom would get the reaction he got. It was amazing. I really, really,
Perfect.
really enjoyed
I
that.
think most people I
Also,
think
I
most people
really
like Dom. I think they just do the
Yeah,
booing thing
they
because
boo him
that's
just
but it's
because.
fun.
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
fun. It's fun.
Yeah.
It's fun. Also, I want to say I really like the booking of neither Rhea or Bianca winning it, Io winning it.
Yes, Io
Yeah.
winning it like that.
Io, I love it. It's like, and I was saying that to my girl before we turned it on. I'm like, what if plot twist Io just wins and neither of these bitches win?
Yeah.
And that's what happened. And now, if you notice, Io is super over, super over.
Yeah. And you know what made it better that she won is the fact that she was kind of like looked at as the afterthought during the build up to it. So it
Yes,
made it really like hit it right on the head. Like you can't just push her face like what do they call it, face palm, whatever. You can't really just do that shit to her or pie face.
right.
That's what yeah, pie face. You can't just keep doing that to her and then she loses her title too. Like
Yeah,
that makes
like
her
y'all are
look
just trying to
weak.
bury her, like for real.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
and I really liked how it. I liked how it happened. Like, I think Bianca was going for the pin, and then like Io came from like the top rope and
Moonsault.
hit her,
It's a
did
moonsault.
moonsault, hit her
Yeah.
with the pin. It was really good. Got a big pop. Overall, Mania was really good. Except for like a few little things like this, like Travis
Yeah.
Scott and The Rock not being there, and fuck that guy right now.
Yeah.
Also, just a quick takeaway from whatchamacallit. I think it was SmackDown. Aleister Black is back. I love that. That was cool too.
Rusev is back on Raw.
Rusev
Love
is
it.
back
Rusev,
on
yeah.
Raw.
Love
That
it.
happened. That was awesome. Um, where the fuck is the Wyatt Six? I don't know. I need that
They're
to be a
supposed to be
thing.
coming back with Alexa. She's gonna lead them, from what I
Oh,
read.
that's dope. If that happens,
You
that's
know,
dope.
I
I
just
like
don't
that.
understand though, because like then where does that leave Uncle Howdy?
I mean, maybe
No.
everything. It's kind of like with the whole, when Bray was alive and he was working with her. Like she kind of had like that little power, Sister Abigail thing,
Hmm.
So it's kind of like I would assume they're gonna change her up a little bit to be more towards Sister Abigail and go with that power thing again with the doll and all
Yeah,
that shit. But I
Yeah.
think they'll be better if they're heels. Like
Yes.
yeah,
they need to go back to when they made their debut, which was outstanding. Just how the music fits perfect to the vibe that they were on, but then they started wrestling, and that's the question I always have. All these things are cool, these vignettes and stuff, but they eventually have to wrestle.
yeah,
And Bray was the best at it because he made that Fiend character into something that no one even expected to ever happen.
Yeah,
yeah,
it was like Mankind on steroids.
Right.
yeah,
It was
yeah.
just insane. So
Truly,
they need to
truly.
do something like that and keep the group a heel group because that's the only way that they're gonna
Yeah,
fit.
and they need to stop ignoring the fact that Braun Strowman is on the roster. Okay, like he's on the roster. He's one of the original Wyatt members. I don't understand why they haven't they've just made him a glorified, oversized jobber rather
Yeah, they could
than
throw him in there. Bray, what did you overall thoughts of Mania and the current booking?
The burial of Gunther has officially began. Um, so I
no,
don't
it
know why,
hasn't. No, it hasn't.
I was like I said going into the prediction show, I was no geet. And now Gunther goes from being a world champion, and now he's gonna face a fucking commentator on the next pay per view. Like that's like
Whoa,
oh
whoa!
that's
Pat can work. Pat
that's
can
that
work, man. Pat
Pat's a
can
good
work.
yeah,
wrestler though, bro.
They asked me to do it. I declined, so they got Pat instead. So
I
you
know,
know,
I
of
know,
course
I
I
Like
know.
fuck
declined.
it.
Bray. Shouts out to. By the way, shouts out to my guy, main event, Jay Uso winning
Me.
that world championship. I know
well
that made Bray cream his jeans, and I'm happy
well
about it.
well here's the thing is what is backlash dates May 6th
Next Saturday.
May
Yeah.
something next Saturday.
Yeah.
Next Saturday, he
No,
loses in
it's
St. Louis to
May
the
May
great God's
8th,
gift to wrestling, Logan
something like
Paul.
that. May 10th.
I love Logan Paul. By the
Huh?
way, I'm a big Logan Paul fan, but I don't think he loses.
Eh,
No.
he's not gonna lose.
But
If they
in
do him
all
Do
like
you
that,
understand? Do you? I don't. I know you don't like Jay Uso, but Jay Uso is one of their biggest draws. I hope
yes,
you know that.
yes, I
Yeah.
understand. I understand. He moves merch and he sells tickets. He does the stupid yeet thing with the crowd, and they all love it. I mean, but the guy he can hardly wrestle. He's not
Yes,
that
he
good.
can wrestle. He
Uh,
wrestles
that
better than
my
That
John
match with
Cena.
Gunther
oh,
was what?
He's better than Cena.
I will say this: if you're gonna shit on him, you might as well just say that he stole his entire gimmick
By who?
I
From
mean,
who?
by his brother, who said it before him. Which is
Oh,
not like
that's
he
true.
created the term, but it's a Cali
I
term.
mean,
But here's the other part: this. Remember who used to do this with the crowd in the crowd?
Who?
Think about it,
I don't know.
Montez.
I don't know.
Well, yeah, he
Uh,
did. And you know what's funny? I was watching I was watching WrestleMania 39 with my girl, and they had just, I think Montez and Angelo had just wrestled, and he was doing this, and I'm like, and then my daughter, I was watching with my daughter too. My daughter was like, "Are they eating?" And I'm like,
Yeah,
"Yeah,
because he
kind
was
of."
doing that for a minute. Now he's doing this.
Now he's doing
But
this.
before he'd
They're
go in
from
the
the.
crowd and he was doing the yeet with his music.
He was,
Yeah,
But then he
he was
stopped
doing
when
a. He was.
huh? He was
He
what?
saw the future. He saw the future.
Yeah,
He
he
was from the
knew.
future. That's what it was.
He knew.
He
Well,
was just.
future, four
He was.
letters,
Just,
one
he was
word.
just showing you guys.
hey, listen, bro. His little pro. I know his like he gets like shed on for his mic skills. His promo against Logan Paul last night was pretty good.
It was
He had
all
that
right.
fire.
Yeah,
I mean, he didn't say a whole
it
lot, but
was
still.
fun. Yeah, all in all, though, my big takeaways from like WrestleMania and stuff is like it wasn't bad. I like John Cena winning. Um, it wasn't the worst WrestleMania I've ever watched in my lifetime,
Yeah,
but
we went
it
through the
like wasn't
COVID
the
era,
greatest.
bro.
No, I yeah, like it wasn't the worst. But like it was good. It was good for what it was. The booking after so far has been absolutely cooking
Yeah.
though, and I think that's what's gonna carry us. I think. And I also think if you're not watching NXT as well, I'm going to throw that in there. If you're not watching
Oh my
NXT, you're
God,
missing out.
bro.
Yeah, I'm
Uh,
watching NXT. I'm watching it tonight.
Also,
The thing is, I just start watching NXT again, um, because like me and my girl are watching it like every single week, and then we
mhm.
stopped, but we watched last week, and like they're cooking hard, and I'm
yeah.
just like, yeah, I'm back on this. This is lit. This is better than anything going on the main roster.
And
No, I
you know
see.
what? You know what? I was thinking because we were talking about who a potential add on to the Paul Heyman, Seth, Braun, you know, what about Oba? What if you threw
Yo,
him in there?
That
I
wouldn't be a
mean,
bad
that would
one.
be cool. I've always wanted Oba to team with Omas, but I think they finally released Omas. I don't know. He might still be under contract.
Or maybe like Trick Williams. Like throw Trick in there.
Yeah,
Trick's a heel right now.
I said the same thing, but then I just seen him go to TNA and attack Joe Hendry, and
Oh
now I'm
yeah.
like, fuck me,
Yeah.
Yeah,
what's going on?
Yeah, they're
I like,
definitely
I like, I like Trick as a
they're
heel.
building it.
I like to see
Um,
somebody because they keep emphasizing it's the future.
I
So
gotta go Carmelo, man. It's young.
that would be a good spot for him. And I think
Yeah,
I think he
yeah,
would just shine.
even
You
though
know what
I
I
mean,
mean?
yes,
even though I think, I mean, even though he is doing that mellow dope Miz thing, which I don't hate
that's you
necessarily.
could you could easily throw
He
that to the
he
Yeah, throw
can
side.
that
throw it to
shit to
the
the
side.
side.
He
Yeah.
can throw it to the side, but I once again, man, I think that they're kind of high on a guy like Theory. I think Theory would kind of still fit there. I haven't seen him with Grayson in a while. He's been kind of like just misplaced. So I haven't even really
Yeah,
seen him on TV really. So have him kind of do something. I think that would be cool. Or yes, Carmelo is. That's. I think that Theory might be a little bit more of a fit, but I think that Carmelo fits pretty well too.
Yeah. And, I'm not even mad at him for stealing my gimmick, him calling himself him, and I had the whole Mr. Him gimmick going on. So, I'm not going to hold that against him.
I
But
know,
anyway,
dude was calling himself one
I
on one and
mean,
stuff like
I
that,
mean,
man.
he
yeah, see,
stole
he's
my
stealing your
he
shit too.
stole my whole he stole my gimmick too. I mean, look how he comes out. Look how he acts.
Yeah, it's
So,
just fucking same chains. You know what I
Same
mean?
chain as me,
yeah,
bro. He had
right.
the
The
one
little
on one
chain
chain,
and
like, come on, man.
the
All
little
right.
braids.
All right. I think this is our longest episode ever, but I think it's
By
gonna be
far.
really fun to watch back, especially just seeing the fucking
yeah.
giggle fest that we had earlier. But thank you guys, like always, for being on here, and thank you guys for watching. Like always, share, like, subscribe. We want to, get as much content out there for you. Hopefully, we get to a point where we start doing more than one episode a week. We could do a couple episodes a week, maybe special episodes on the weekends or something. But, we're working on that. But, put some comments out there for us. And we do definitely appreciate you guys and enjoy the rest of your week. And we'll see y'all next time.